How's everyone doing today? This is Chopping It Up Hardcore with Hal Capone, special edition. Today, my special guest is Boulanger, the drummer from Massa, Nera. He also does vocals. I don't know what to say about Massa, Nera, except in the past 6 years, they're probably my favorite band, easily, hands down, in the past 6 years. Like, the band is incredible, amazing live, super stoked to talk to Mark. It's been a long time coming that I get to talk to, somebody from the band because I'm so amped on the band. So, hope everybody's good. Hope everybody's well on this Saturday. Hope everybody's chilling, getting a little lunch, sitting back and listening to me and Mark chop it up. That being said, he'd probably jump on in a couple minutes. I just want to thank everybody, too, for watching my YouTube channel, sharing anything, saying nice words to me. Like, I super appreciate it. Like I said, I don't know how long I'll keep doing this, but yeah, it's a labor of love, you know what I mean? So, what's up, Bri? Love you. But yeah, I can't wait. This is one of my bucket list to do with Mark. So, I'll be seeing them with State Faults next month again. And yeah, I'm just super amped. Can't wait to see him again. Live is incredible. But so I should be jumping on in a second. You get your coffee? You got your coffee going? You ready for this? So yeah, I'll probably do a couple more of these. I mean, I have a couple in my pocket that I'm waiting on. But I appreciate it. I appreciate you watching anything I put up, honestly. I really do. Thank you so much. But yeah, I'm gonna keep. Yeah. Oh, this band was amazing live this year. I was amped seeing them too. That was incredible in Providence. Tony, what's up? Yep. So like I said, I got a couple more in my pocket, ready to go. Every 3 weeks, I'll probably get on here and do another one. Like I said, but I don't know how many more I'll do. I always say that, but dude, Catalyst in Providence was insane. The crowd was insane. Like, I love Providence. Like, that's where it's at right now in New England to go see a show is Providence. So and I'll be seeing Catalyst in November within loving memory, which I can't wait to see that show too. This year's been a year of incredible like reunion bands that I've seen. Orchid, Seisha, Loving Memory, Usurp a little while ago. I think that was last year, but still, like, it's been crazy this year. Yeah, Providence packs it in, but I love it though. That's why it's so crazy there. Those kids go wild, which I love. Yeah, Ted Williams is gonna go wild. I can't wait for that. I'm so stoked on that. It's gonna be amazing, honestly. Hopefully, Mark jumps on here. I always have technical difficulties when we're trying to link. So he should be on any second, I'm hoping. Yeah, that Providence show next month. I mean, November is going to be crazy. Seeing Ulth again. I love Ulth. It's going to be so dope. I don't All right, hold on one sec. Right,
Okay.
there we go.
Oh,
Yep, you got it.
okay. Okay. How do I move the? Here we
Yeah, I
go.
gotta just move myself so from the
Yeah.
picture. All right. Let's see here. All right. There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Interesting.
Nice. Thank you so much for taking time out. I appreciate it.
Of course.
It's been a long time coming. I know I got in touch with the band like a long time ago, and things just worked out today, which is amazing because I'm such a huge fan of Massa Nera, and like I said before you jumped on, your band is probably my favorite band in the past 6 years, hands down. Like there's no other band that I put above you guys in the past 6 years at all. So
Well, that really, thank you. That really means a lot, seriously. And especially since, we've talked and I've seen you at shows, and I know that you've been doing, you know, you've been part of this scene for a really long time. So that's really, really means a lot since you've got, deep knowledge.
yes, yes. I've been in. I'm going on. I'll be 53 in January, so I've been in the game a long time, definitely.
Oh,
But yeah, but I'm still going and I'm still recording shows and I just love it. It's a labor of love of mine, and I'll be seeing Massanera and State Faults next month in Alston, so I'll be recording that as well. So I'm amped on that.
fuck yeah. Oh, that's going to be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. That being said, for that show, um, I've seen Massanera twice now, and this will be the third time next month. Um, eh, will there be the full lineup that like?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. It'll be, uh, premium grade. Yeah, it'll be our actual lineup. Yeah. Have you seen us with a fill-in both times?
yes, the two times I saw you guys was with Kevin. Once he was playing bass, and once he was playing guitar.
Oh, that's so funny. Yep. No. Yeah, it'll be the four of us.
Nice, nice, awesome. So usually on my first question that I usually get into with these chats is I always ask, when you were a kid, what kind of got you into music? What was the music you got into?
Okay.
And then it's kind of like a two-part question. Like after that, what kind of got you into heavy music? Like how did you kind of gravitate towards the heaviness?
Sure. Okay. Well, um, I got into music when I was 10 years old. I was driving home with my mom from something. I have no idea what it was. Maybe a baseball game, like Little League or something like that. And she was listening to The Who. I think it was Overture, the first song from their Tommy record.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was about that song, but it commanded my attention the way music hadn't done so. Like I don't come from a very musical family. My parents aren't artists. My grandparents really aren't artists. I have an aunt who sings and an uncle who played guitar, but beyond that, nothing really. But for whatever reason, that song just commanded my attention. And I asked, "What is this?" And my mom's like, "Oh, this is The Who." And that was that. Um, there was no turning back from that point. I just became obsessed with music. And pretty much everything I was listening to initially was classic rock. Pink Floyd, yes, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Boston. Um, and then I don't know, probably within a few months of getting into the Who and beginning my journey into music, I started listening to Black Sabbath, and I noticed right away that they were, heavier than a lot of their contemporaries, and that really appealed to me. As much as I loved Led Zeppelin and the Who and bands like that, I always kind of wished that the aggressive aspects of their music went further. So Black Sabbath appealed to me immediately. And from there, I started listening to Q1043, which for anyone who doesn't live in like the Jersey, New York area, that's like the local classic rock station. And on Monday nights, they used to, I don't know if this is still a thing, but they used to have a 4 hour metal block. I think it was from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eddie Trunk was the host,
Oh,
right?
nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he played For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica. And again, I think I sat straight up in the bed. You know, it was past my bedtime. I was still up listening to music, probably terrorizing or just annoying my brother to no end because we shared a bedroom at that point. He's younger than me.
Yeah.
And yeah, For Whom the Bell Tolls played, and I was like, what is this? And I found out it was Metallica. Went to the local library and I got, you know, I think they had like And Justice for All and Master of Puppets on CD. So I rented them. And that really is what started my journey into, I guess, what we would consider like extreme rock music, you know. But definitely my way into punk was through metal. Like through learning about through thrash, I got into hardcore punk, and then and from there, you know, I started learning about more modern music, you know, more contemporaneous stuff. Uh, this is like 2005, 2006. So, you know, bands like Slipknot and My Chemical Romance were really huge. Through my cousins, I kind of gone to metalcore, but not real metalcore. You know, stuff like Trivium and Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
And because new metal was still kind of in vogue, even though it was dying at that point. Thank goodness. I got into stuff like Slipknot, and that led me to the Dillinger Escape Plan.
Mm.
And then from there, you know, I got into shit like fucking uh, Converge, Discordance Axis, Drowning Man, Botch, Coalesce, Starkweather, you know? And then simultaneously, um, oh my God, I'm trying to read some of the comments, and oh my God. Yeah, I recognize a few of the people. My band's not Corey is wondering where the rest of the band is. I'm like the designated fucking mouth, you know? The rest of them they don't want to talk, so I have to do it. But of course I talk enough for everyone else in the band anyway, so it's no problem. And
Somebody
yeah.
has, somebody has to be the spokesperson.
And you know, I will check out this John Anderson record. I dig. I'm like a yes apologist, so I even dig Tales for Topographic Ocean. So anything from that era that anyone in the band was doing, hell yeah. Uh, but anyway, yeah. Um, Simultaneously, My Chem was big. The Black Parade had just come out. Through them, I learned about Thursday. Got into post-hardcore. You know, bands like At the Drive and Fugazi, Quicksand, Glassstraw, whatever.
Yeah.
And through Thursday interviews, reading interviews that Jeff Rickley would conduct, I learned about Screamo. And when I heard Screamo for the first time, it was probably Venus and Bacchus by Seisha, and then Orchid, you know, the classics.
Yeah.
I felt like, wow, this is exactly what I've been looking for. Something that combines the extremity, more or less, of the metalcore and extreme metal that I dig with the vulnerability, the overt emotionality of a band like Thursday or a band like At the Drive-In or even a band like Jimmy Eat World. Something that could be sensitive but brutal simultaneously, you know? And yeah, it doesn't just vacillate between those poles. It combines them, you know?
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
so when you were listening to that stuff, like the earlier stuff, say like Dillinger and even like kind of the thrashy stuff, were you too young to go to shows at that point? Like you weren't hitting shows at that point, were you?
No. Oh, it's so funny. Someone mentioned Kaiba. Kaiba's fucking great. We love that band, and we're playing with them. They're playing at one of the State Fault shows. I think the one in Pittsburgh. They're
They are good.
excellent,
They're really
good,
good.
great musicians. You know, they're really tight, really creative. Um, no, I was too young. I'm one of two. I have a younger brother. My parents, like they enjoy music, but they weren't really hip, you know, so to speak. Like they didn't know what was going on in the underground. Needless to say, they don't really keep up with contemporary music.
Yeah.
And you know, they're not really into heavy stuff, extreme stuff. So of course they had a mental image of what shows like that, what they're like, what it's like to go to a metal show or a punk show. So no, there was no way in hell I was going to be making my way to a concert. And to be quite honest, the town that I'm from, Clark, New Jersey,
Yeah.
it's really like a cultural wasteland. It's bereft of anything intellectual, artistic. It was like that when I was a kid. It's still like that now. So there wasn't really much in the way of a scene going on.
Yeah.
I didn't have any friends who had older siblings of their own who were into stuff like this. I was pretty alone. So my experience with punk, with screamo, with metal, it was just sitting on my computer, um, researching bands, maybe watching Fuse and seeing a music video. Or there was this one channel, Havoc on the 101. They would play like Mars Volta music videos sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was really my experience. That was my connection to the culture, going on websites like punknews.org or Sputnik Music or Absolute Punk. Um, maybe I'd borrow a Megadeth CD from my uncle, or I'd find whatever the Clark or Galway libraries had, if they had anything. Like the Galway library had a City by the Lake Divided by Thursday.
Mhm.
So that, I'm eternally grateful to Galway for
Yeah.
that, for their library, because that's without that CD being there at that time, my life could be completely different. But yeah, no, there were no shows, no bands even. It all felt like a fantasy to me.
Yeah. So where was the scene closest to your house back then that you knew of?
That I knew of, I didn't know of
You didn't
any.
know of any.
No, I didn't know of any. To me, it was all something that existed somewhere else. Um, I mean, at the time, I was so out of touch with like keeping this to screamo specifically,
Yeah.
right? I was so out of touch with what was going on in the underground as far as American screamo was concerned.
Hmm.
I thought, oh, this is something that exists in Europe now.
Mm.
Bands like Ditro, Sed Non Societe, Rain, La Quiete, um, Sweet La Lune. That's where it's happening.
Yeah.
Mesa Verde, the Scottish band. In the States, it's not a thing anymore. Other than maybe like pianos or State Faults. Actually, I thought beyond other than those bands, shit's dead. No, for me, the underground was stuff like Dillinger, Thursday, or Drowning Man. It all existed. I don't know. I guess in New York, that's where I figured it would be taking place. But I didn't know anyone in New York. I
Yeah.
wasn't connected to anyone in New York City, so I don't know. I don't even really think I thought about it like that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, there's a scene somewhere close to me and I've got to get there. I just thought, well, I don't have a car. I don't have someone who could take me there. I don't know anyone. I'll just keep listening and maybe one day I'll get lucky and I'll find other people who uh, want to start a band like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yeah. So when did you actually find like-minded individuals that were into that music? Was it in college or was it after
Yeah.
college or?
It was college. So high school, I was in a band, and I managed to get my bandmates. I mean, I'm lucky; they were very open-minded.
Mhm.
I was able to get them into Thursday and Glassjaw and stuff like that. And I think Eduardo Ed, the bassist, I got him into screamo, and he quickly developed his own taste and got into extreme metal and extreme punk and stuff like that. And he's still making music to this day. College, I played with anyone who needed a drummer. I was lucky. I went to Ramapo College of New Jersey up in Mahwah, and there was a really active music scene when I was there. But there was a paucity of drummers,
Mm.
and I was more than happy to play with anyone and everyone because I like all kinds of music.
Yeah.
Uh, my sophomore year, I found people who wanted to be in a metal band, and that was cool. We did our thing for a couple years. I played in jazz bands, funk bands, whatever. But finally, my junior year, my friend Dean hit me up. They had a spoken word project that they were doing, and they were like, "I want to turn this into a band."
Hmm.
And in describing their vision to me, they mentioned screamo. Now, I think even though they knew what real screamo quote unquote
Yeah.
was.
Yes.
I have a feeling they were using the term pretty loosely. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But because they messaged me, because we weren't having a face to face conversation, I read that and thought, oh, we're going to do some City of Caterpillar off minor, fucking a day in black and white type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I signed on right away. I was like, yes, here we go. All this shit was just practice. Now I'm going to start making some fucking screamo finally.
Yeah.
And we hooked up with a couple other friends who were in a band. Um, and yeah, we started making stuff that was at least screamo adjacent. That band's called Our Wits. It's still active to this day, but obviously because Massa Nera is so busy,
Yeah.
we haven't been doing anything for a while. But we're still writing, still doing stuff.
Yeah.
That band's a lot more experimental, a lot more, I don't know, melodic, a lot gentler. Matt and Najee, the guitarist and bassist, respectively, they don't really listen to screamo. Although now, because of everything that I've been doing, they're more familiar with it than they were at
Yeah.
the time. They were coming more from like a post-hardcore sort of background, not even like Fugazi, Quicksand, more contemporary.
Yeah.
Circus Survive, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Um, um, but Dean, our vocalist, was hit up. Uh, or he found out about the show that was happening in Roselle Park, which is a town in Union County. Somehow, uh, got us on the show. Massanera means black mass in Italian, and Rohan, I will text you back. I'll call you today. Um, when I get my car from the shop. Um, but he got us on the show at an American Legion or some sort of like VA or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and it was like the first real punk show that I had ever even played.
Mm.
I think I'd only ever played one show at that point that wasn't at my college campus.
Yeah.
Not counting a couple things in high school, And that was a show with a folk band, so it was real professional, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Um, so I was like, oh, okay. There's stuff actually going on. There's an underground scene. And one of the bands we played with was called Bordello, right? And that actually was Massanera before Massanera. It was Chris and Alan's previous band with all of the other initial members of Massanera. It was Chris's brother on vocals, our old bassist David on bass. They didn't have a drummer, so Chris's brother was doing a double shift. He was doing vocals and drumming simultaneously.
Oh, really?
And then, of course, yep. And of course, Chris and Alan were on guitar.
Yeah.
And because Chris's brother was drumming and doing vocals, everything had kind of like a ramshackle feel.
Yeah.
So it reminded me of Screamo. To me, it sounded like a real Screamo band. Unbeknownst to me at the time, none of them were really super into Screamo. They knew it. They were getting into it, but they didn't have like super deep knowledge yet.
Yeah.
And the EP that they had put out was a lot more polished. It sounded a lot more like, I don't know, Touche Amore or something like that.
Yeah.
But live, I thought, whoa, this band's fucking raw.
Yeah.
And then I started talking to Chris. We had already played. We were the first
Yeah.
band. And he starts talking to me about jazz music, asking if I like jazz, because I guess he heard some jazzy stuff in my playing. And I was like, yeah, I love jazz. And he starts talking about Thelonious Monk and John Coltrane and the Japanese math rock band Toe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, who the fuck is this kid? This would have been the beginning of my senior year now. None of them went to Ramapo. None of them were even in college. I was the only person who was away at school,
Yeah.
Probably about a month later, the music club at Ramapo were hosting a punk show. All of the bands that we had gotten up to that point for the punk show, they were all scenester bands, Nothing that was super interesting. Or they were more straightforward punk. Again, nothing that scratched the itch I was looking to scratch.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, fuck, this band is cool. They're exactly what I like. Let's get them to Ramapo and introduce all of these people to real punk, real screamo.
Yeah.
But they couldn't play because they were, Chris is on the chat now. Oh my God. you know, they couldn't play because they were in between drummers. So whatever. I thought that's a shame, but maybe we'll get them up to campus at another point. You know. Then a couple months after that, I guess in between when I played and when I see this Facebook post, this is like late November, early December 2015.
Mhm.
Anthony Webster, who's now in jail, jail is his band. I guess he had hooked up with Bordello as a
Yeah.
third guitarist. And he made a Facebook post basically saying that they were looking for a drummer, blah, 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 blah. And I thought, oh shit, that's that band with that kid who likes jazz music. You know, maybe I could do something interesting with them. My
Yeah.
metal band had broken up. I was used to being in 5 bands at a time. Now I only had
Yeah.
one. I went. So I thought, well, it would be good to get another project going. I don't want to be in just one band. I want to have something else going. And maybe this could be like my heavier side project or whatever, right? So I respond to the post, don't hear anything back. He makes another post. So I respond with more detail. Anthony messages me, basically says, yeah, you know, we're looking to change our name, basically start fresh. And he tells me to learn, I think, the beginning of a song by Converge. I forget what song it was. It was off of um oh my god, why am I forgetting the name of the record? The one after Axe to Fall. Uh All Our Love, right?
I,
What
with me, Converge. I after Jane Doe. I don't like. I'm the old guy that listened to like petitioning and caring and killing. Oh, I lost him for a second. Let's see if we get him back. Hold on.
hey,
Hey, there you are.
hey, I was looking up the title. All Our Love We Leave
Ah,
Behind.
there
That's
we
what
go.
it was. Oh, so you don't even I mean petitioning and When Forever Comes Crashing, they're fucking great. But not even You Fail Me?
Not. I mean, I've listened to it a bunch of times, but I've like really stopped listening to Converge after Jane Doe. Like
That's
honestly.
fair. You know what? For me, as much as I love petitioning and When Forever Comes Crashing, Ben Kohler's drumming is the drummer that they have on their earlier records is great. Damon Bilardo, and then there's a different drummer on the Agoraphobic Nosebleed split,
Yeah.
right? But I think Ben Kohler is so masterful, and he has such a unique voice that I can't help but love everything from Jane Doe onward. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um,
That being
and
said,
their
though,
sound.
that being said, with Ben though, I'm like still in love with Force Fed Glass. Like the drumming on that is unbelievable. Like like
Fuck
over
yeah.
the top crazy. Like so.
Yep. Yep. Fuck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. See, that's that real shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, I learned one of the songs from All Our Love We Leave Behind, and then I learned the Bordello EP, even though I wasn't asked to do that. Go audition, and I tell them like, hey, you know, I learned your EP. I learned it walking around the mall air drumming, looking for like a birthday gift or a Christmas gift for my ex. Um. So we played it, and that was that. And again, I didn't really know what they meant totally by like starting fresh. I thought that they would still be looking to at least like play the old stuff, which
Yeah.
I really liked.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't have even auditioned if I didn't like that first EP.
Mhm.
But they were like, nope, that's all ancient history. We're a new band. And that was that.
And so your first recording was the four-way split. Was that
No,
the first thing you were on, or you were on the like EP
uh,
before that?
no, everything that's Massa Nera, I'm
You're
on. Yeah.
on.
When I at the risk of sounding grandiose, when I joined the band, that's when it's Massanera, you
Yeah.
know? Um, so no, yeah, all of Massanera's stuff I'm on. It's just, if you looked up that Bordello EP, I'm not on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not in that band. I was never in Bordello. But once it becomes Massanera, I'm, on everything for better or worse, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Uh,
But
and then the first show
but
oh,
vocally wise though, was it when you joined? Was there the solo vocalist, or all four of you
mhm.
were doing vocals?
No, it was a solo vocalist, Chris's brother. And everything from the first EP
Mm-hmm.
will be enough for you to keep going. The second EP, No Estamos Separados. Um, you know, Los Pensamientos, the first full length.
Yeah.
And the four-way split, the first four-way split, that's just called four-way
Yeah.
split with Yost Brighto, Eiffel, and This Is Me Not Thinking of You.
Yeah.
Plus the Jerome's Dream cover, that is all solo vocalist.
Okay.
Uh, on the first EP, Anthony did all of the secondary vocals.
Mm-hmm.
And then once he was no longer in the band, Alan and Chris started taking them up. And then I did a couple screams and the singing on Los Pensamientos, but everything was still John.
Yeah.
You know, like 99% of it.
Yeah.
And through that first year, literally from April 2016 to February/March 2017, we wrote and recorded all of those releases.
Yeah.
So we were very busy. And throughout that year, we slowly but surely hemorrhaged members. Anthony left first, so we went from being a 6-piece to a 5-piece, and we decided not to replace him, just to remain with a 2-guitar configuration. And then, in the middle of recording Los Pensamientos, David, our old bassist, left. Literally in the middle of recording. Like, we had 2 days, then a week off, then 2 more days, and in that week off, he left the band. And then after we recorded, John left. So in a year, we went from being a 6-piece to a 3-piece. And while that was happening, Alan had joined Forever Losing Sleep. They were like a Jersey post-hardcore, post-rock indie band. I don't know. It was a nice blend of styles.
Yeah.
I guess I would call it like post-rock inflected post-hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
You know? He joined as their drummer and managed to convince one of their guitarists, Fred, to step in as our temporary bassist.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a show coming up, the first ZBR Fest actually, which was in Toronto at that point.
Yeah.
Yep. We had played with Dave like a year before in Boonton, New Jersey. He was playing with Murtech, his old internet project. We'd hooked up with him, and then of course we did the Jerome's Dream cover, which ZBR ended up putting out. But I thought, wow, why the fuck is this guy, asking us to play all the way in Toronto? Like, we're nobody. You know what I mean? And also, what an inopportune time to be hemorrhaging members like this, right? What the fuck are we gonna do?
Yeah.
So we get a fill-in bassist. Rick, I shouldn't like minimize his contribution. He really saved our asses. And then we were thinking about maybe auditioning people to do, as like the lead vocalist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we decided, you know what? Fuck it. Like, do we really want to bring someone in, teach them all the lyrics and everything? We've been slowly increasing the amount of backing vocals that we've been doing. Maybe we should just do the leads. And so then we became the vocalists. And that totally transformed the band for the better, in my opinion. Yeah, ZBR, that first ZBR Fest, that was the first show that we had done with us doing vocals. So it was real trial by fire,
Yeah.
I think we rehearsed once. The night, like literally, we were at Rick's garage at 10 p.m. learning the songs, and then at 11 p.m. we hit the road to drive up to Toronto.
Yeah.
And then Rick, we started getting more offers to play shows. Rick couldn't commit because Forever Losing Sleep was his band. So I got Najee, the bassist in my other band, to join. He joined as a member. We even started writing some songs with him, songs that made it onto future releases. Like the song on the Frail Body, Infant Island Day, and a Crawl Split. We initially wrote that with him. Even Adrift off of Dedemacade Badar. We started writing that with him on bass. But after about 8 months or so, he decided that it really wasn't for him. We were back to our 3-piece configuration. We were like, God fucking damn it.
Yeah.
That's it. This band is never going to be able to do, it's never going to sustain any sort of momentum if we keep shuffling through lineups like this.
Yeah.
And Fortunately, I had met Erin online. Uh, she had hit me up to see if we wanted to do a tour with her other band. I knew that she played guitar. I knew that she could scream. I knew that she knew Spanish, or I had a feeling that she knew Spanish.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, wow, if this person joins, we could have four people doing vocals, three people who are bilingual. It would be perfect. You know,
Yeah.
another person who could write both music and
Hmm.
words. So I asked if she just wanted to be in Massa Nera instead, and she said yes. And it turned out bass was her first instrument anyway, so it was all very serendipitous.
Yeah, yeah. What a like incredible evolution of the band too, because I feel from beginning to now it's just evolved into like the best version of Masonera you could have. You know what I mean? I like this with three vocals and how tight y'all are now. It just works so much. Like I said, the 2022 release, I'm horrible with like pronunciations of stuff.
Don't worry.
That album is top 15 all-time screamo records ever made. Like, and anybody can argue with me because it's literally it's like up there with Seisha, Page 99, Jerome's Dream, all that stuff. That's how important that release is to me because I'm like obsessed with that release. And then on top of that, the Quiet Fear Masonera release. I'll tell you the story real quick about Masonera.
Yeah.
I was like, I loved the 2022 release, and then I was like skeptical of listening to new stuff because sometimes bands change their styles a little bit, and like all of a sudden, like I'm not a huge fan of like all of a sudden the band starts singing in their music and stuff like that, or they get like quirky vocals, like here and there's not bad, but when they start really like clean singing and doing switching it up, which I get it that bands like don't want to scream for 10 years straight. But I was like skeptical on listening to new stuff because of how much I love the 2022 release. And then I heard Bloated and my fucking mind exploded. I was like, holy shit, this is so heavy. I was like, oh my God, this is just what I was waiting for. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And my hat off to y'all for putting out such an incredible split with Quiet Fear, on top of Quiet Fear being amazing. You know what I mean? It's just, it gets
Yeah.
better and better as you guys go on, I feel.
Well, thank you. I, yeah, I'm really, really, really proud of both those releases. We all are. And like you said, I mean, the first 2 years of the band before Aaron joined, it feels like those years feel like a fever dream, right? Almost like a different band in a way, because in a lot of senses we were. So it's been nice for the past 6 years having stability, being able to actually build and build and build and grow and develop.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, that 20, Dead in My Kid Epadar, I mean, we put everything we had into that record. That record was uh we were all dealing with a lot of intense shit, good and
Yeah.
bad, mostly bad, some good. um, and it was just a really raw snapshot of where we all were at that time. And I don't know. To me, making that record, it felt like we were a four-headed hydra, like a hive mind.
Yeah.
Everyone was so in sync. I don't know if I'll ever work on a musical project like that again, where everyone is so much on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes there's a lot of really interesting stuff to be mined from that tension,
Yeah. Yeah.
when you're not totally together and you have to figure something out. But I don't know. We were really unified and it was beautiful. So I'm happy that the release means something to
It
you,
means a lot.
know?
It means a lot to me, honestly. And just like it's not like I don't know if it's a concept album, but it just flows so good from start to finish that you know what I mean. Even with like the Spanish speaking samples and and then you have the EDM passage in the middle, which like totally surprised me, but I love that because I like EDM. I love all kinds of music, you know what I mean?
Fuck
So I was like, whoa,
yeah.
what is this? I was like, this is like I'm feeling this. So it feels like such a great album as a whole from start to finish, and that's what I love about it so much. And I wanted to ask ask you, like, going forward, would knowing that you like jazz and other members like jazz and stuff like that, will you guys like do newer stuff to kind of throw in there? Like you do an EDM thing, maybe you do a little jazz like passage in the next full length. You know what I mean? Something like that. Have you
Yeah,
guys ever talked about something like that?
for sure. We are, we never want to repeat ourselves. We're constantly trying to challenge ourselves. We're constantly trying to grow. Um, we have a lot of thoughts about the pervasiveness of nostalgia in the current music scene and in society in general, right? And how much, how easy it is to fall into the trap of like homage or worship or whatever. Not that those things are bad inherently, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Screamo's been around for 30, 35 years if we're taking like Honeywell
Yeah.
as our starting point,
Yeah.
right? Screamo's older than me. It's in its 30s now. There's no harm in trying to push it forward if that also means pushing ourselves forward, as long as it feels natural. If we were all at a point where we said to ourselves like, let's make something that sounds like mid 2000s Italian screamo, then that's what we would do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, because it's all about being authentic. But no, where we're at right now, definitely, um, we're looking to expand our sound a little bit more for the next release. Incorporate new things, without losing the core of what we are or who we are right now. You know,
Yeah.
so it's there. There are just as many twists and turns as there were in in Dead of Makidabara, but I think the palette has
Yeah.
expanded. Uh, yeah, I'd definitely love to talk to you more about it, but I don't want to, even though, this is just a small little Facebook, Instagram live thing, but like, I don't know. I'm very weird about, I don't like to say too much and put it out in the world because then I feel like it creates
Yeah.
expectations.
Yeah.
We learned that with Dead Market but as soon as we wrote one song, we told all of our friends, like, hey, we're working on a new album. It's going to be out soon. And then that record took 5
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So now our policy is don't say shit until it's done.
Well, then I won't ask about future releases.
Yeah.
Although the sessions release that you just put out from Milan, Italy, is has a new song
Yes,
in it,
it does.
but it has no vocals in it. Correct?
Uh, at that point, the vocals weren't ready.
Yeah.
Now they are.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be on one of the next things that we do.
Okay.
And I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I have no problem talking like in a general sense, like when you were asking about looking to experiment, looking to incorporate more things into our sound, like that I'll talk about for hours and hours because that's we're talking about more conceptual
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of concrete, like what are you working on? When's it coming out? That'll just
Yeah.
sooner
That's on
than
the back burner.
yeah,
You got to keep that on the back
yeah,
burner.
yeah,
with the
exactly.
with the vocals, it's another thing about your band is just everything works vocally for me. It's like there'll be some real low growls and then like that's what I like about it. It mixes it up so much so you never get bored with like the same sound. I feel like there's something different in everything y'all put out, and it's exciting to me. That's why I say you guys are my favorite band in the past 6 years, like easily. And a lot of bands are doing great things too. I mean, Blind Girl's release this year blew my mind away too.
Fuck yeah.
Heavenly Blue blew me away, especially live. Heavenly Blue blew me away. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
um, that band is amazing. New Forms put out a great album last year. There's a lot of great things, but I like tooting Nera's horn a lot. You know what I mean? Being a weird, I hate the word fanboy, but I guess I'm fanboying out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I I really like that we all do vocals too. I agree. It definitely keeps everything fresh, right? Especially with like the way that we like to stretch out, both within a song and within an album as a whole, right? I mean, Dead Amador is like 15 minutes long. To have one voice doing the same thing throughout the entirety of that 50 minutes, I think it would get old fast.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, having all four of us, and our voices don't sound exactly the same. My voice is a bit deeper than the others, screaming wise at least. Aaron's is a little bit higher. Obviously, we all have different personalities as well. I think that really helps keep things fresh. It keeps the momentum going. It keeps everything flowing nicely. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, it's just fun layering,
Yeah.
You could get really intricate with the vocal arrangements when everyone does vocals,
True.
And like with some of the songs that we've made, I mean, the vocal arrangements are almost as headache inducing as the musical arrangement when it comes to figuring everything out,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like who's going to do what where and what inflection is this person going to use, and then okay, this person will double here and then we'll have someone fucking echo this line, but it can't be this person because their part's too complicated or whatever, so yeah.
I'm sure it's more complicated like back in the scene, but on the outside looking in, it sounds like you guys know exactly what you're doing perfectly. So
Oh, thank
um,
goodness.
I wanted to ask about Kevin too, because Kevin fills in a lot, and I see that he filled in New Friends Fest again, and like I've seen him twice. And
Hmm.
um, has there ever been talk of just adding Kevin to the band since he fills in so much?
Not really, and obviously it's not anything against Kevin. I just feel like, I mean, I can't speak for my bandmates, but for me, the band is the four of
Yeah,
us. I think, especially in terms of writing, in terms of conceptualizing everything,
yeah,
I wouldn't really want to change
hmm
that. Also, and maybe I'm biased as the drummer, right? Especially as someone who likes to have enough space to roam around, right? I think three guitars can get really muddy,
yeah,
It could get a little bit too dense for my liking, at least for the sort of music that we play, where it needs to be a little bit
yeah,
sprightly, you know? Um, but that being said, whenever Kevin tours with us, if he's filling in for someone, then on that tour, he's a member of the
yeah,
band,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He
And
fills it.
everything that we get, he gets. Everything that we suffer, he suffers with us. So
Nice. I wanted to speak about tours too. I know, Massa Nera is one of the like busiest touring bands that I've ever seen. I feel like Massa Nera and for a while Catalyst was like just nonstop touring, and Ulf does a lot of touring
Mhm.
too as well in the past couple of years. I feel like you're on the West Coast all the time, and so are those bands too. And I know you did like Habak and Quiet Fear tour. You did the short Meth little run that you did with Meth.
Yeah.
I lit a while ago, like a few
Yeah.
years ago. And of course Page 99 just recently, and then the huge European tour that you did for pretty much a month.
Yeah.
um, like how special were those tours, and just like quickly, like what were some of your favorite tours that you've done real quickly?
Uh oh my God. Well, first they were all special. The tours that we've done with other bands and the tours that we do by ourselves,
Hmm.
you know. They're all special in their own way. Obviously, touring with another band um is particularly special because if all is going well, the camaraderie that develops, right? The
Yeah,
bond that develops between your band and the other band. It's so special. I mean, like I feel like Quiet Fear and Habak, they're family now. They're friends the that the four of us are gonna have until we're fucking dead. And I don't know, there's nothing like that. Uh the Page 99 tour was really special for sure. Uh, I feel like we bonded with them incredibly well,
hmm
and I wasn't sure how that was going to go because they're older than us. They're a band that we really looked up to and still look up to,
hmm
right? So I also didn't know how closely they were paying attention to newer developments in this little musical world of ours, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I didn't know if there would be any sort of ego stuff, but they were, I mean, they treated us so beautifully right from the word go that by the end of that tour, and it was only 5 days,
Yeah.
right? So it wasn't very long.
Yeah.
Again, they just felt like dear friends. We were sad. Um, Not even because we weren't going to be playing more shows. I was just sad that I wasn't going to be able to hang out with them more.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
So yeah, to be able to do shows with, I guess, like musical heroes of yours, and to find out that they're just regular people, lovely, kind people who also happen to be immensely creative and talented,
Mhm.
right? Just good people. Um, and to have them treat you like peers, um, it was extremely validating. So yeah, that tour was special. The Quiet for Her Box tour was special. That tour was a fucking headache because I booked it all.
Yeah.
So trying to figure out where 13 people are going to sleep every night, fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was worth all of the headaches because now we have friends for life, and to just watch both of those bands play every single night,
Yeah.
fucking kill it without fail.
Yeah.
It was inspiring. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, every tour, the Islet tour was fucking great. Um, the Quiet Fear tour that we did on the West Coast was great back in 2022. It's right. All the tours you mentioned, by the way, they've literally all happened within the past
Yeah.
2 years, year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been busy.
Yeah.
Those 3 days with meth, they were great. They weren't quite as special just because we didn't, they were all close to where we live.
Yeah.
So we were driving back home every night. We didn't
Yeah.
get a chance to really hang out in the wilderness, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I feel like we bonded with them strongly. They're a band that we really respect
Mm.
as artists, and it felt like the respect was mutual. So that was lovely. And they're just goons. Uh, they have a warped sense of humor, which we like because ours is equally warped.
Yeah.
So and then of course Europe was. I want to tour Europe every year.
Yeah.
It was that incredible.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I could talk about that tour for hours. I'll spare you the agony of that.
I mean, European tours for some bands are agonizing, but it seemed like for you guys it is like really special.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'll give myself a little bit of credit because I booked the tour.
Mm.
And I really dislike long drives quite
Yeah.
strongly. I mean, I love driving, but to do that every single fucking day,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Mm.
Uh, Especially when you're in another continent, like, who wants to do that? I'd rather explore. I'd rather see each city,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Not to mention, obviously, trying to be budget conscious. The longer the drive, the more gas you're spending.
Yeah.
And we're in a van, so gas isn't
Yeah.
cheap. Gas isn't cheap in Europe in general,
Yeah.
you know? Um, so the route was pretty smooth. And I mean, every person who helped us out, whether they were booking a show, finding bands, playing in bands, feeding us, letting us crash. Like they were so
Mm.
accommodating, so generous in spirit. It made everything easy. Our driver, Tommy, any band who's looking to tour Europe, they should hit him up. He made that entire tour so much smoother than it would have been otherwise. He's a
Yeah.
fucking road warrior. He's indefatigable, and he's again someone who, for me at least, is going to be family. You
Yeah.
know, for the rest of my life. Just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful person. He plays in that band, Melissa Bahat. I don't know if you
Mm.
know them.
Oh, I don't know that
Really
band.
cool. They're a Croatian screamo band. They did a split with the band Zemar from
Oh, I
Prague.
know them. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Yes, Dave is just like Panda Wheels for Life. That's Tommy's, I guess, like van company, for lack of a better
Yeah.
word. Yeah, beautiful person. If you're touring in Europe, hit him up. Uh, it'll make your life a lot fucking easier. Yeah, that tour was special. Maybe the most special, though, for me was the tour we did 5 years ago in Southeast Asia and Japan.
Mm.
Um, for much of the same reasons.
Yeah, yeah,
The generosity of
hmm
spirit, the bands that we were playing with, the places we got to go, the things that we got to eat. Oh my God. Uh, yeah. So I don't know. For me at least, I don't think we've ever been on a bad tour.
yeah,
Even the ones that are a little bit cursed, um, they all work out in the end because those become stories that you can tell to people. You
yeah,
know.
exactly. Yeah. How was the Virginia Fest that just happened?
Oh, fucking great. Mike and Paul, Mike from Page 99 and Paul, who runs Persistent Vision Records,
Yeah,
they did such an amazing job. Um, for me, at least, based on what my tastes are, it was probably the best curated fest that we've
yeah,
played. And I say this, I don't say this lightly because like the last few ZBR fests, every New Friends Fest, Second Impact Fest that we played in Modena, Italy,
hmm
like all of those festivals had incredibly stacked lineups. But this one for me took the cake, and we got to play with fucking Thou. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah,
I'd never seen them before somehow. Um, yeah, Kilara, Brandon's old band, fucking Pygmy Lush. That's who I was most excited for.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, the fest was incredible. It ran on time. I think the third day was a little bit behind schedule because of us. Um, but even then, it was essentially on time, smooth. Everyone seemed to be having a good time. And for me at least, now that we've been active for going on 9 years and we've been playing shows pretty much that entire time, every time we play a festival like that, it's almost like a family reunion.
yeah,
There's not enough time to see all of the friends who are there or talk to
yeah,
them. So yeah, it was it was fucking incredible, and I really hope they keep it up because yeah, uh, it was great,
yeah.
and I imagine it'll just keep getting
I
better.
was surprised the Red Scare got back together again and played that. I love the Red Scare, and I hopefully they do a few more shows towards New England because I would love to see them again.
I hope they do too. They sounded fucking great. Like if I wasn't the wiser, right? If I didn't know better and I was hearing them for the first time, I never would have thought they had been inactive for like 20, 25 years. You
Yeah,
know? It was like they didn't miss a beat. Same with Kalara.
yeah, yeah. That fest, just the lineup alone was incredible. It's I don't know, but going forward with tours and stuff like that, I know you guys are playing with State Faults now. Is there anything? I know you don't want to get ahead of yourself and tell too much, but is there anything like slated for after State Faults, or kind of the winter? You guys going to slow down a little bit once the winter really hits?
uh no, we've got stuff planned. Um Not as much stuff as usual just yet
Mm-hmm.
because of you know, secretive musical plans that we've got.
Yep.
But oh yeah, we've got something planned for January that is coming together now. We're going to be doing stuff in May. That's coming together. I'm almost certain we're going to do stuff in the summer, and that's not counting, you know, smaller stuff
Yeah. Yeah.
that is inevitably going to pop up. I
Yeah.
shouldn't say inevitably, but that will most likely pop up.
Yeah.
And then, in the future, I mean, we always talk about we want to go to Latin America. I see someone. Yes. Oh, I know this person. Yeah. We really want to go to Latin America. Um, I'm hoping that maybe 2026 will be the year. Obviously, now we have it in our heads that we're going to make our way to Europe every couple years or
Yeah.
so. We were trying to go back to Japan. That didn't work out, but we our friend Ko, who plays in 1,000 bands, including the band Sans Visage,
Mm-hmm.
um, he's again an incredible person. He really knows his shit when it comes to booking bands, booking touring bands. So
Yeah.
I think when we're ready to pull the trigger, that'll come together nicely.
So what
Yeah,
about Australia?
we've talked about that. I would love to go to fucking Australia. I want to play everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
When we were in Italy, or not Italy, but when we were in Europe in general, I was asking Tommy the entire time, like, hey, so, like, have you ever brought a band to Turkey? Or like, oh, if you went all the way down to Gibraltar,
Mm,
it's only, I think, 8 miles from Gibraltar to Africa,
mm,
right? Like, has the band ever played in like Tunisia?
yeah,
Right? Like anywhere we can go, I want to go there.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Before this band, I had never even left the East Coast of the United States. I'd been to New York, Pennsylvania, Jersey, Virginia, and the Carolinas. That
Hmm.
was it. So, for me, traveling is really a special thing that I don't take for granted. So,
Yeah,
yeah, anywhere we could go, I want to go. We've talked about Australia. I think if we did Australia, maybe we would try to combine it with some more Southeast Asian
yeah,
dates,
yep,
Maybe do like a week in Australia, then a week or two in Southeast Asia. Um, but that's a little more theoretical right
yeah,
now, or hypothetical.
yeah.
Yeah.
So going forward a little bit, like I said, I don't want to delve too much into what you guys have going on, but like I know that new song was in the fold with the Milan session,
Yeah.
and like, do you guys have uh, like a handful of songs that are new that have already been worked on without like giving too much, like because I'm chomping at the bit. I don't know if like anything will be re-recorded for something more full length or anything like that from like what you did earlier this year, or I mean just to try to get into a little bit of it without giving too much.
Sure, sure, sure. No, we have a lot of stuff. Um, um, and the stuff is going to be divided between two releases, and that's all I should probably
Yeah,
say.
that's it. That's
Um,
enough. That's
yep,
enough.
yep, all new. Um, we're other than like brief like lapses into nostalgia,
Mhm.
we're pretty much always about looking forward,
Yeah,
especially when it comes to writing.
yeah,
So, the song that's on the Milan session, that'll be on one of the releases for
yeah,
sure
yeah,
in its final form.
yeah,
Otherwise, no, if something was recorded and released, then that's the past.
yep, yep. Nice, nice. I don't want to keep you for too long, and usually when I do these chats, I usually do a rapid fire at the end. I don't know if you've seen these rapid fires before, but you ready for some rapid fire?
Sure, I'll try to be as rapid as possible.
All right. My first question always is, what is your all-time favorite hardcore screamo band from New England? Meaning, like
Oh,
New England, Providence, Connecticut,
yeah,
New
okay.
Hampshire, Massachusetts, Maine.
Ooh, that is a good question. Um, All-time favorite hardcore or screamo from New England? Fuck. Honestly, in terms of the band that I've listened to most in my life, probably Converge. I know that's like basic. Um, but yeah, Converge. And if I couldn't choose Converge for whatever arbitrary reason, I'd probably go with Drowning Man.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Drowning Man
Specific.
back in the day was really really good.
And I'm thinking specifically everything from How They Light Cigarettes in Prison
Hmm.
to Drowning Man Still Loves You.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Rock and Roll Killing Machine, though, especially for me, is a fucking all timer.
yeah. That's such a banger. Such a bang. Now, did you see them when they got back together again, just like
Wow.
recently?
I
No,
didn't.
me neither. I was going to do it, and then something came up, and I missed it, and I was like kicking myself in the ass for not actually going.
Yep,
So,
same. I think we were probably touring somewhere. The same thing happened with the Orchid shows. We were in Europe, so we couldn't even go.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, but I would love to see Drowning Man.
yeah, yeah.
Or yeah,
My second question: what was your first real hardcore screamo show you attended? Not like a battle of the bands, or like you said, uh, like something that was really the first hardcore screamo show you saw.
hardcore screamo. Well, um, hmm, when I was 16, I saw Thursday play at Starland Ballroom, and We Were Skeletons opened. So that was the first screamo band I saw in the
Yeah.
flesh. But in terms of like a proper hardcore screamo show, honestly, the show I was talking about before when I met my bandmates, that was the first one. That
Yeah.
was like the first hardcore punk screamo, all DIY,
Yeah.
VFW hall,
Hmm.
booked by one of the bands. That was the
Yeah.
first show that I had ever played that was like that or attended.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Um, so that kind of is the second question. So you just answered. I usually ask, what is your all time? Well, actually, what was your all time favorite show you played? Like all
Oh my
time. Like.
god, that's hard because Massa Nera has played about 250 shows now. And I've played shows with Respire too, and obviously my other band.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll just say Mastonera. Like what like name a
okay.
couple that meant the most to you.
Ah, okay. Oh man, this is hard. Okay. New Friends 2023. Um, because Quiet Fear and Us, we did the battle set.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Hmm. And we did the battle set 4 times in total. We did it at Dilly Dally in Philly, and
Yep.
then we did 2 versions of it on the West Coast. And those shows were all extremely special
Hmm.
in their own right. They were incredible. But New Friends, first, it's fucking New Friends.
Yeah.
So it's like Screamo Summer Camp.
Yeah.
It's the best weekend of the year. Um, just being surrounded by friends, seeing killer band after killer
Mm.
band, making new friends, no pun intended. Plus, we've been to Toronto a lot. I love Toronto.
Yeah.
Just walking around that city is a lot of fun. And then, we had never really done anything like that. A battle set that's totally continuous, right?
Yeah.
Where even the transitions are planned out in advance so that it just feels like a seamless, continuous stream of music,
Yeah.
right? To the point where if someone were listening from like the room over, maybe they wouldn't even know that there were two
Yeah.
bands
Yeah.
or where, yeah. And that release, that set was the split. It
Mm.
was the split front to back.
Yeah.
So to do that and then to have it come out so well, if I may be so bold, um, that was just like that was an energy rush like I've never
Yeah.
fucking felt.
Yeah.
Um, and to have all 8 of us at the end, like the Massanera alone, to me already feels like a fucking tidal wave.
Yeah.
You know, where sometimes I feel like I just have to keep up with everything, and I mean, I'm in the fucking band.
Yeah.
So to have 4 more people, all of us playing together, it was incredible. And then
Yeah.
Blake from Page 99, he did vocals on one of the Quiet Fear songs. Throughout the set, we were kind of helping each other out. And then to have Page 99 play right after,
Yeah.
and they were all so. I mean, if it weren't for that set, I don't think we would have done the tour with
Mm.
them. You know,
Yeah.
so I feel like to have them see what we were doing and for them to understand it and respect it and dig it and be so excited about it. And then I got to drum with Andy for By the Fireplace in White. I was on the tom the entire time, the floor tom.
Yeah.
Uh, Christian, Quiet Fear's drummer, he was on another floor tom, and then Kevin went up there and started beating on the tom.
Yeah.
Like all of our fucking friends, like everyone in the crowd, and then there were like 40 of us on like each side of the stage.
Yeah.
It was um and my spouse Wendy, they were there right up front too. Yeah, that was really fucking special.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's so good. Um, my next question: what is your all-time favorite show, hardcore show, screamo show that you witnessed that you didn't play? Like for you, it
Oh,
could be like an old show. It could be,
okay.
what was your most like favorite show that you saw that you didn't have a part of playing,
Okay.
performing? What was?
Well, I'm probably gonna have to go back a little bit. I'm exposing myself a bit, but since we're so active, and whenever we're not playing, we're writing.
Yeah.
Um, since we're so active, I don't go to as many shows as I used to. When I'm not playing, actually, even from the beginning, we were playing like 50 shows a year right away, which maybe for some people isn't a lot, but for us, since we all work,
Yeah.
that's a good amount.
Yeah. That's a good amount.
Um, so I'm gonna say, ah, I think it was in Philly. Maybe it was in New Brunswick, but I'm pretty sure it was in Philly. It was Supine and Truman back in 2017. Um, and those bands, Supine, uh, they're not really that active anymore, but they put out their last LP not too long ago.
Yeah.
No Altar for the Company Man. Great fucking record.
Yeah, good record. Definitely.
And then Truman, they're no longer with us. But Mitchie from Truman is in Gift for God, Gift from God. They're in Listless. They were in this awesome band called Samara back in the day. Truman's last EP, Madoy, which like ZBR and Middleman helped put out. That record is one of my favorite Screamo releases of all time. It's just 3 songs, but it's incredible. It feels like a full length. That's how complete it is.
Yeah.
And in fact, the first, you mentioned like you asked me what my first like Screamo hardcore show was. But the first like proper Jersey hardcore show that I played, I think, at least in terms of what my mental image of Jersey hardcore shows were, right? Like a New Brunswick basement show.
Yeah.
The first one that we ever played, which was also the first one I ever attended, it was our 4th show ever. It was with Truman, Supine, and What of Us, which was Eric and Ross from Burial Dance, Eric Morrow, who plays in Sonagi now, and Tom, who, is in 1,000 bands.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That show was fucking incredible. And watching all those bands play, I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, who are we? How and I also thought, my God, these bands must be gigantic. They're so incredible. Before realizing, no, this is just the scene. This is real DIY shit. Everyone this is just a bunch of friends getting together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seeing Truman and Supine play, knowing that we didn't have to play before them or follow them up, that was really special. Also, there was this fucking math rock avant-garde band that played called Sexual Jeremy. I think they opened for them.
Yeah.
I was into it. Yeah. It was cool, weirdo vibes,
Nice. My next question. I'm a movie guy. I watch a ton of movies. I always ask.
I see you on Letterboxd.
Yeah. What was the last movie you watched?
Oh shit. The last movie I watched was a couple days ago. My spouse and we watched The Hudsucker Proxy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's an old Coen Brothers movie.
Yep.
It was gonna be like their big commercial breakthrough, but instead it was a total flop.
Yep.
Even now, it's kind of like a dark horse in their filmography. But I really liked it. But I really love the Coen Brothers.
Yeah,
and then
me too.
while I was practicing drumming the other day, I had Miller's Crossing on in the background.
Nice.
So yeah,
nice. Yeah. My last movie was I watched the newest Crow, and then I watched the oldest Crow because I forgot. It had been so long since I saw the original with Brandon Lee that I watched like them back to back. So those were my.
I haven't seen either of them, believe it or not. Not even the original. How was that double feature?
It's definitely different from the original. The new one kind of takes a newer take on it, kind of almost like a more supernatural vibe than even the first one. It was all right. I mean, I think the first one is better, but it doesn't age well with the effects and the acting. So I mean, you're not going into it thinking like it's going to be super. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I think it's all right. Nothing to write home about for sure. But my next question always is too. I'm a huge old '90s hip hop guy, boom bap style. I always ask this: if you've been listening to hip hop lately, what have you been listening to, if any, at all?
Recently I haven't been listening to too much hip hop, or any hip hop at all, really. I feel like I've mostly been listening to folk music, and ambient music, which I'm always listening to, and Emergency, the Tony Williams record. I've really been digging into that because it's fucking incredible. And despite being a huge, you just maybe overstating it. But despite being really into jazz,
Yeah.
and despite having been really into jazz when I was in college, I never checked Emergency out, but it is incredible. And it sounds pretty modern. There's actually one composition on it that has almost like a proto blast beat, and this is from
Really?
1969. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Kidding.
But I listen to a lot of like the Dead Texan and Stars of the Lid and stuff like that, and I've been digging a lot of Pygmy Lush, of course.
Yeah.
I think the last hip hop record that I got really that I was jamming a lot was probably 36 Chambers a few months ago because
Nice.
that's one
Nice.
of my favorite albums ever, and
Yeah.
it's probably I'd say at this point it's probably my favorite hip hop album of all time. So every few months I have to just like dive back into it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It's up there for me too as well. Um, my next question: what is your favorite song to play live, Massa Nera style? Like what song do you enjoy playing? Out of all the songs you've been playing over the years, what's your favorite song to play live?
Um Ooh. So I mean I enjoy them all. Um okay. My favorite of the older songs, everything before Deramakire Barar.
Hmm.
My favorite of the really old stuff before Aaron joined actually was Un Mal Cola de Aras off of the four-way split
Hmm.
because it was so fucking groovy and
Yeah.
dancey. And I really love that. A lot of my favorite stuff to play is the groovier stuff.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the, relentless heavy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then when we used to play Nunca Seremos Lo Mismo off of the Frail Body and Island Diana Crawl split,
Mm.
that became my favorite to play because I feel like it had a little bit of everything,
Yeah.
you know? It grooved, it got really heavy at the end, it was dancy. But in terms of what we play now, probably Adrift.
Mm.
Uh, uh, or Hipocrita.
Mm. Such a great song. Amazing song.
Yeah.
Lost Faces is up there for me too. Lost Faces is like one of my favorites too. But those two songs too, they're up there for me as well. I love those songs.
Yeah. I think Hipocrita is my favorite song off of that record. It was probably like the first song that we finished for the record too. That and Lost
Yeah.
Faces, we wrote them together. It was just one big song,
Yeah. Yeah.
obviously, and they still flow right into each other. But yeah, I just loved all the groove in
Yeah.
Hipocrita.
Yeah. So good.
Um,
So
yeah,
good.
and then that stop start section where after a couple measures it changes constantly.
Yeah.
I really love that. And then same, for Adrift. I don't know, for people who've seen us a few times or for people who really know our music, um, I feel like whenever the introductory drum beat starts, I could see people's faces, you know, light up a little bit, and
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Because, but even if we were playing in a fucking empty room, I would still love playing that song just because I think it's one of the best songs we've written, and I wrote all the lyrics to that one. So for me, when I get to my vocal part at the
Yeah.
end, it's very personal,
Yeah.
very raw. So yeah, it has everything I want in one of our songs. It's groovy, it's subtle, it still gets heavy at the end, and despite being technical and despite being somewhat high-minded lyrically, like there were a lot of themes that I had in mind concerning capitalist realism and hauntology and uh the intersection of gender identity and work and all of those
Yeah.
things. Like despite all of that, at the end of the day, the core of the song is that raw experience, that raw emotion. So for me, it kind of encapsulates everything that we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Nice. And I finally have one last question for you. What like new bands have impressed you lately, and if you have any recommendations of new bands that people might not have heard? I know you guys have toured all over the place, like Europe, all over the United States, Japan. Like what newer bands have impressed you lately that people might not have heard of, and that you just kind of want to give them a little shout out?
Okay. Um. So I'll avoid obviously like any band that feels more contemporaneous with us. Your Blind Girls and Frail Bodies. Plus, those bands have you know, those
Yeah.
bands are known.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, well, Kaiba, who I mentioned at the beginning of the chat, I think they're really good. They're
Yep.
great songwriters, great musicians, and just sweet people. We played with this band in Florida called Novelly.
Novelty. I've heard
Um,
that. They're good.
yeah,
They're really good.
they're really good. They kind of have got almost like a mid-90s thing
Mm.
going on. You know? Like we're talking about emo core,
Yeah.
arguably,
Yep.
rather than screamo. Elements of Need and Don Martin 3, bands like that.
Yep.
Um I don't know, I thought they sounded great. And I feel like a lot of the younger bands, at least the ones that I've heard, um um that are playing screamo, to me it feels like their reference points are a lot more current. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you're like Flowers, Tape Depends, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or they're pulling from bands like Stacia or Jerome Stream or whatever. So to hear a band kind of go beyond that
Yeah.
and do it so well,
Mm.
that was really fucking
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. Novelty. 100%. We just played with that band Rhododendron.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're definitely a known band. You know, they were
Yeah.
touring with fucking Number 12 and Fall of Troy.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
want to give them a shout out anyway because they are exactly my cup of tea.
Yeah.
You know, that like, I don't know, jazzy percussion, 90s Louisville style guitar lines that reminded me of like June of 44 and Rodin,
Yeah.
but combined with hardcore aggression, screamo aggression. And like I talked to those kids before the show, and like their musical knowledge is so deep. They could talk about, you know, cranky records style drone and ambient music, and then they could talk about Florida death metal
Yeah. Yeah.
and IDM, all in the span of one
Yeah.
conversation. So yeah, they're the fucking real deal. And then oh man, in Europe, we played with so many great bands. Uh, this band, Soas Tafrenes. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. No, I'm definitely not pronouncing it correctly, but I think I'm
Yeah.
close. Soas Tafrenes. They are based in Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, fucking incredible. Closest I've heard a band come to Lord Snow in quite a while.
Wow.
Relentless. Fucking relentless.
Yeah.
Um, they also booked that show. And, one of the members, I'm so bad with names, and it was in the middle of tour, so, I
Yeah. Yeah.
really was bad with names.
Yeah.
Um, how do you spell that? It's like SOASTASPHRENAS. Let me just write that in the chat. Furnace. Yes. There we go. They are fucking incredible. And again, they booked the show. One of the members cooked the food. Delicious food, by the
Yeah.
way. Like a Chipotle style burrito.
Yeah.
So they're really like part of that scene.
Yeah.
They're in it. They know what's up. And then the other band we played with, Cool, I think. It's KHY with an umlaut L.
Mm.
They were also great. Oh God, we played with so many good bands all throughout Europe. We played with this band Moshi Moshi a couple shows.
Yeah.
They're from
Yeah.
Finland. Kind of like emo screamo, which normally isn't really my thing,
Yeah.
but they did it so well.
Mm.
They're really, really good musicians. And they listen to shit like Death and Cynic and
Yeah. Yeah.
so I can imagine them making even weirder music in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
We played with a band from France a couple shows called Un Autumn du Pleu. Awesome. Awesome. And then every band we played with in fucking
Mm.
Italy. Oh my God. Oh, like we played with Onye, of course. They're amazing.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
played
Yeah.
with this band, oh my God, I'm blanking on names now. Fuck. We played with Shizune. Everyone knows
Yeah.
Shizune. That was a real treat. Again, playing with your fucking heroes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? Um, the first show we played in Bologna. Oh my God, I'm blanking on the name, but that band was fucking incredible. Oh, but there was one band in particular. We played with them in Milan. They were called Sacra Fuoco. They were really, really, really special. Um, Really special. Uh, I don't know. It was such an interesting amalgamation of sounds. They had the patience of a band like City of Caterpillar,
Yeah,
even though they didn't stretch out quite as much.
yeah,
They even incorporated some electronic elements into their sound. But when I say incorporated, I really mean incorporated. It wasn't like, oh, hey, here's the screamo part, and now we're going to have this electronic break. It
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah,
woven into the tapestry of their
yeah, yeah.
compositions, you know?
Nice.
Really, yeah, really special, really elegant. But then when they wanted to get heavy, they got fucking
Yeah,
heavy, you
yeah.
know? Yeah.
That's sick. That's
The dr-
amazing.
the drummer's in another band called
Yep,
Radora.
yep,
Um,
yep. I know that
yeah,
band. Yep.
two of the members of Boulanger are in Radora. Awesome as well. But yeah, Sakta Fuoco. Fuck. Honestly, I would recommend to anyone who is masochistic enough, look up all of the posters from that tour.
Yeah,
Every band that's not us. Just check them out.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome. Mark, I appreciate this so much for you taking time out to do this. It's been such a long time since I wanted to do something like this, and I just want to say, like, I love the band. I love what you guys are doing. I can't wait to see you guys next month and chop it up and give you a hug. And I just thank you so much for taking time out. I don't want to keep you any longer, but let's stay in touch. I'll
yeah.
see you next month. And seriously, thank you for doing this.
No, thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. I hope I didn't ramble too
No,
much.
I see. I like that more. Like, less me talking is better for these chats. Honestly.
Okay, well then I'm happy about that. Thank
Yeah.
goodness. Um, oh, and yeah, this was a lot of fun. I'll definitely hit you up. We'll see each other soon, and yeah, we'll definitely talk. I'll send some stuff your way.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love it. And I always send you guys stuff. I sent you some of my old stuff just to kind of give you a background on what I was doing back in the day and stuff like that. But let's stay in touch. And I'll see you next month. And thank you so much. And seriously, have a great weekend. And I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, likewise. Have a good weekend, and thanks to everyone who watched this and said something nice. That's very, very lovely. And a lot of and uh, yeah, thanks.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you
Uh,
soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.